Well, hey everybody. Welcome to the update preview stream. This is Bugs here. I'm joined today by Miss D and Artemis. Say hi, guys.
Hello, everyone.
Hi guys.
So, what do we have going on today? Well, it has been 1 week since the big update and forced wipe. And so, as we generally do see at this stage in development, we've seen a lot of hot fixes and forward progress this week. As always, we're going to go through it. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to do at Miss D underscore that's me in chat. Had to think about that for a second. It's like hard not to say shadow. But yeah, Miss D underscore that's me in chat for any questions. Please direct them there. And also, just for everyone wondering, when's WIP? What's going on with the wipes today? Well, it is the Thursday weekly wipe servers that are map wiping today. That's at least as far as Rustafied is concerned. So that's your mains, your smalls, your barons, your Zen labs. And they are wiping at the regular scheduled time. So that's 3 p.m. local time for the region, which means AU, SEA, and EU have already wiped. EU wiped, what is that, 3 hours ago at, I want to say 10 a.m. Eastern my time, but that was 3 p.m. GMT, BST, yes, because we have changed time zones. And then the US servers are going to be wiping in 2 hours at 3 p.m. EST, and that's going to be your US main, small, Baron, and Zen Labs. And Zen Labs, I'm happy to say, we ran Happus, the community version of Happus. Shout out Community Happus. We ran that last week. It was really well received. And so on Zen Labs, EU and US, we're doing one more week of Happus. So do check that out if you are so inclined. And yeah, with that, let's get into it. What's going on with the development and everything? So you might have noticed, and this is pretty common after a forced wipe and a big update, you might have noticed some hot fixes go out, some little updates on your Steam library to Rust. And we did see a couple of them come out between last Thursday when the official update came out on the force wipe happened, and over the weekend and into this week, we saw some. With the update, it looked like there were some performance issues, specifically on the server end when it went live. I think, and I'm not sure, so don't quote me, but I think they're doing a lot of gameplay metrics in the background. And based on what I was seeing with some conversations, some of the pooling with regards to the gameplay metrics was not optimized. And so server performance, especially on high pop servers, went to shit after the update last week. Thankfully, the dev team swooped in and fixed some pooling issues and everything like that, fixed some server performance issues. They also increased the egg suit durability from 25 to 80 because that was needing some balancing, so to speak. They also did multiple fixes to the double saddle and the horses with regards to that and everything. They also, and this is back in the server performance realm, did some possible server memory improvements as well. So it does seem like, along with getting these gameplay metrics, they're really working on identifying the things that are really causing performance to be sluggish on the server end, such that, to fix and optimize, you need to identify what's really not optimized first. So it seems like they're really in the discovery phase of working with these gameplay metrics to figure out how servers are running and specifically what is slowing them down such that they can focus on those areas and optimize, which as a server owner and runner, holy cow, that would be great, because server performance has always been this kind of give and take, and it's always a finicky thing. And so to get more optimizations in server performance, man, you're speaking my language. So looking forward to that. Also, they did a couple other hot fixes. They removed some phrases. There were some derogatory strings. I can think of a couple that they removed out of the game, and also fixed the map not being able to be opened while spectating. And the other thing with the map is they fixed some exception when trying to edit map markers labels. When the map key is bound to a non-text key, like caps lock, for instance. So fixed an exception when dealing with that. So that's some of what we saw come in the hot fixes earlier this week. So if you saw an optional like kind of update on your Rust, it was probably for one of those things. And this also came with optional server updates, which we at Rustified have run across the board. And if you do run a server and you haven't updated since last week for some reason, I do recommend you go and run the latest update because, especially from the performance issues and everything like that, they did a number of good fixes to performance. Also, in the realm of other stuff being worked on, we've got some forward progress on various different projects. Weapon racks, we're seeing more commits around weapon racks. It looks like, and I gotta feel like we're close to seeing these weapon racks come in the game because it's been a couple months. We've seen, in fact, it was late last year, I want to say November, with one of the hack weeks they did where we first saw weapon racks start being worked on. And then it was kind of agreed upon, it seemed like internally with Facepunch that they were going to put weapon racks in the game. And so we've seen various commits on it over the past several months. And now we're at the point where I feel like we're getting close. I feel like we're going to see weapon racks pretty soon here on a staging branch. And if you're not familiar, it looks like weapon racks are going to be not only a great place to display your weapons visually in your base mounted on a wall or something like that, but it will also have utility where instead of having to go into a UI to drag a weapon out of a box, it looks like you'll be able to point at the specific weapon on the rack and just drag it into your, or like click it and it'll go into your hotbar type of thing. And also, if you want to get rid of a weapon and put it on a rack, you can just kind of drop it in the general realm, and it looks like the rack will like suck it up and it'll be mounted on the rack like automatically. Now, this is of course based off the commit language that we've seen over the past several months for these weapon racks. So in actuality, it might be a little different, but based on what we've seen in commits, that's what it's looking like. There also might be a couple sizes of weapon racks, but not sure. We might be seeing a small, medium, and large, but we'll have to wait to see this stuff get merged into the staging branch for testing, and we'll have more information on that. Now, speaking of staging branches and testing, we are just one day away from AUX 2 going live to test the nuclear missile silo. And then, now, the nuclear missile silo, of course, is the newest monument to grace the plains of Rust. It's going to be mostly an underground monument from the looks of it, and it's going to be, well, a nuclear missile silo. So you can imagine there's going to be radiation, there's going to be NPCs, there's going to be loot, and a bunch of other good stuff to find, mostly, once again, underground. Now, we got word earlier today from Alistair. He tweeted saying that the nuclear missile silo will be available for public testing as of tomorrow on the AUX 2 branch. So I definitely recommend, if you're interested, to get up tomorrow and go to your staging branch. This is in the Steam library. There's Rust and then there's Rust staging. If you right click Rust staging and go to properties and then the betas tab, you'll be able to select AUX 2. It'll run a quick update on your client, and then you can join and test out the nuclear missile silo. We're going to spawn up a staging server and another test server, likely to test these things out on the AUX 2 branch tomorrow, and I encourage you to do the same. It probably will be a little janky, these first tests, especially on AUX 2. There's definitely going to be issues abound, but it's going to be cool to see what this nuclear missile silo looks like and what the functionality of it is. Now, also, of course, the other thing that we must not forget in the nuclear missile silo conversation is that Alistair, a couple weeks ago on Reddit, alluded that the nuclear missile silo is also going to shed some more light on the activities and the goings on the Rust Island. So it looks like maybe this nuclear missile silo will provide a bit more in the realm of lore for the game and shedding some light on the Rust lore. So definitely going to be paying attention to that too. And you can bet that next week on our Thursday article on rustafied.com, we're going to have a full rundown of what the nuclear missile silo is, what it looks like, what you can find there, and all that good stuff that you as a player would want to know. And then it does look like the nuclear missile silo is likely to go in for the next update, which is going to be May 4th. Yeah, I had to look at my calendar for a second, but May 4th, 3 weeks from today, probably that nuclear missile silo will be going live. But we're excited to test it on AUX 2 tomorrow. We'll be back, of course, next week, next Thursday, same time, same place, to show you all the nuclear missile silo. We'll be streaming from AUX 2, and we'll, of course, have an article summarizing all of it, as we always do on rustafied.com. Every Thursday, we do an article summarizing what's going on in development in text and pictures. And then also every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we're here to give you all a little update preview stream. So that's the nuclear missile silo. Also, in the goings on of development, we got Helk working on the mission editor. And this is something we've seen worked on a little bit in the past, but not much recently in public facing commits. But it looks like Helk is back working on this mission editor. It's not clear if this is going to be a public facing and accessible mission editor, or if this is going to be something like a tool that the developers use on the back end to develop various different missions for the game. It would be really interesting if this was a public and publicly available mission editor, and then server owners could kind of maybe white glove cater what missions are on their servers and stuff. That could be interesting. Could be a nightmare from a balance standpoint potentially, and a vanilla, like staying vanilla standpoint, but we'll see with that. It is interesting to see more work being done on these missions, though. It does feel like that's a system that got into the game and got a certain place, but it never really, to me, felt like it got right really where the devs wanted it to be. I always felt like they wanted a bit more complexity with the missions, and work the missions a bit more into the progression of the game and everything like that. And so I feel like this mission editor probably will be aiding in creating more complexity and more contrast with the missions in the game. Once again, not sure if it's going to be public facing or if this is just a tool for the devs to easier create and push out missions, but we will keep you posted as more comes to light on that. Also, we've got more work on the attack helicopter. It seems like the attack helicopter, the focus on the development there is currently on the gunner screen and UI. If you're not familiar, the attack helicopter is going to be like a big brother to the minicopter. Instead of wheels, it's going to have skis, but more importantly, it's going to shoot stuff. And it looks like it's going to shoot rockets and maybe a gun as well. The pilot's going to have a seat, and then the other person sitting in there is going to be in the gunner seat, and the gunner seat is going to have access to a screen which will be used to aim and fire the weapons on the attack helicopter. It does look like at least there's going to be rockets, but maybe a gimbaled gun of sorts, but not clear. More work does continue on that though. So I feel like there's a chance we might see that attack helicopter hit staging this month too, and maybe we'll see with the May update the not only nuclear missile silo go live, but also the attack helicopter and maybe a couple other things. So as always, we'll keep you posted as more comes to light on that. There's also more work on gameplay metrics. I kind of touched on this in the beginning, but the metrics are just really looking at not only what the players as a whole are doing, which is really valuable information for the devs because they can assume like gameplay is going a certain way, but actually seeing what all the players on all the different servers are doing at various points of wipe is going to be really valuable for them as far as balance and things like that. But it looks like the gameplay metrics focus is more so this week on server performance and identifying the areas of poor performance and causes of poor performance on servers. And that's a godsend, for us because it does take a lot of resources to run, especially a large Rust server. It's insane the amount of resources that you need to run this thing, which is understandable if you got 4 or 5, 600 people running around a server. Of course, it's going to take a lot of resources. But yeah, to see optimizations in this realm is going to be really great. And so excited to see how that progresses and what increases to performance on the server end we can see over the coming weeks through that work. There's also more work on deployable quarries. So it looks like they're bringing back a refresh of these de- deployable quarries. I was going to say deplorable quarries, but no, they're not deplorable. They're deployable. They're upstanding quarries. But they were removed, though. If you remember, they used to be deployable quarries, and then the devs removed them because I think it was something along the lines of people were just hanging out in their base too much and doing too much with the quarries and creating these huge compounds, but not roaming the map as much as they want. So I imagine with this deployable quarry refresh coming out, there's going to be some tweaks to gather rates and balance and things like that. But it does look like they're giving the deployable quarries another swing up at bat. So we'll keep you posted as we see more on that. Also, there is some more work on building skins 3 branch. Not sure what this is. If this is going to be, user created skins that you can apply to buildings, or if this is just going to be a new type or new look for the existing buildings and tiers of buildings that we have. Not really sure, but keeping an eye on that one. Also, speaking of skins, it looks like some new skins will be on the item store. They did work on disabling Easter We did see a commit for disabling Easter, but it doesn't look like Easter is going to be disabled today with an update. It looks like probably next week, next Thursday, there's going to be most likely a optional, but maybe mandatory client and server update, and that will disable the Easter event. But in the meantime, on the skin store, it does look like there's going to be some more Easter skins this week for your choosing. So I encourage you to go check that out once that's updated. And yeah, that about does it with what's going on. Also, just by the way, for anyone tuning in and watching, sorry, there ain't shit to show off today. And that's normally the case. The 1 week after, the first week after forced wipe, there's not much going on in actual staging to show off. We're 1 day away from seeing the nuclear missile silo and Ox 2, and that's what we'll be showing off next week. But for now, not much to show off. And honestly, it's probably going to be a pretty short one today. But in the meantime, any questions from the audience?
Yeah, we have a few, but let's start with Winner's Whip.
So whips today are for the weekly Thursday wipe servers. We're talking just Rustafied. For any other servers, go check out their Discord or their website or their carrier pigeons or whatever. But for Rustafied, we wipe our servers at 3 p.m. local time for each region. And so today, that means AU, SEA, the mains already wiped like 11, 12 hours ago. EU had several wipes: EU main, EUS, small, Baron, and Zen Labs all wiped 3 hours and 16 minutes ago. And then in like 2 hours and 45 minutes, yeah, no, 1 hour and 45 minutes, sorry, time 1 hour and 45 minutes, we're going to be seeing the US servers wipe, and that's going to be US main, small, Baron, and Zen Labs. Once again, Zen Labs, we're happy to announce we're running Community Happus once again on Zen Labs due to popular demand. So it seems like that did a great launch last week, and people are loving Community Happus. If you haven't participated or you want to participate with Community Happus, I encourage you to go check out discord.gg/happusrust. That's one word, Happus Rust. Cyfex over there is doing an awesome job spearheading, putting that map together, and then maintaining it and pushing out updates and fixes and improvements. So really happy to be supporting them in that venture. And yeah, go check it out if you haven't.
What is Happus?
Happus is a static map that was originally created by Facepunch as one of the this is a story, man, isn't it? So the new version of Rust is procedurally generated maps for the most part. Back in the day, Legacy, that was a static map. And so when we switched over to the experimental version, the new version, which is now just the version of Rust everyone plays, it was primarily and still primarily is on procedurally generated maps. That's like you give it a seed and then the map changes each wipe and it's just procedurally generated, right? But Happus was created as one of the first static maps, and it was kind of a homage, so to speak, to the legacy static map, even though it was different in a lot of ways. But Happus was originally kind of like this homage to the legacy map. Then it was generated. Peter over at Facepunch created it and maintained it for a while. It was like not maintained for a bit after HTRP stuff went live, and then they got it back up to date. But at the end of the day, a couple months ago, they said, you know what? It's such a pain in the ass to keep Happus up to date because we add like train tracks and stuff like this to ProcGen. And then we've got to go in and do a whole nother body of work to get it onto Happus, just to get it onto Happus. And not many people play Happus. So just the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, so to speak. So the devs stopped supporting Happus. And that's when community came in, and specifically Cyfex came in this time and said, "Hey, let's fix this up. Let's keep Happus going." And so now Happus is being supported by the community. We're running it on our EU and US ZenLab servers. Those ZenLab servers on the official list are basically just a place where we can play around with different custom maps and different kind of vanilla friendly gameplay modes as we see the various metas of the game shift and everything. But for the time being, we're just going to run Happus on it because that is what the majority of people want. And yeah, that's what's going on with Happus.
One sec. My screen just went blank for a sec. Did they fix stashes?
I believe they are still wonky. Stashes are not working well after the update last week.
Is there any new Twitch drops?
No sign of any new Twitch drops. And I was
There's
just
not a
going to
whole lot of.
twitch.facepunch.com. Yeah, still no sign of any new Twitch drops.
Are you finally bringing the new EAC?
Well, that's a great question. One, to address that, we're not developers of the game. We're just fans of the game like you who love reporting on development news and running the best servers that we can. So we're not on the Facepunch payroll. We don't develop the game. We have no control over what goes into game development or how EAC works. Um, that being said, man, I hope they get an update to EAC soon. I hope EAC gets their shit together because this hacker situation is frustrating as oh god, I gotta watch. We did say this is for mature audiences, right?
Yes.
So yeah, fuck, God, is it annoying? Fuck, are these hackers annoying? And EAC should really get their shit together. But no, I kid. I'm totally not going insane because I spend most of my time moderating these servers and talking to people in Discord. Totally fine. But yeah, hopefully EAC does have an update and gets more efficient. Nothing but love to the guys at EAC. Nothing but love but to the guys at Facepunch. But holy cow, is this hacker situation a fucking problem? And there's only so much that server owners can do because we've got limited tools and limited time. But I am happy to say we've got 10 new moderators on at Rustafied. We're handling reports and triaging reports a lot quicker than ever before. And we've got this third party anti cheat that's doing really well that we're helping test and run, and we're cranking that up. And that's doing a great job, better than EAC, in fact, somehow off the bat. It's doing a much better job at catching hackers and stuff. So we're doing everything that we can at Rustified to address that issue. But man, is it is it tiring? It's all good though.
I saw a few people asking, Bugs, is it true that Facepunch are moving the AI anti-cheat?
No, I no. That was just a thing that there was like a YouTube video about how AI could do anti cheat, but no, there's I haven't heard anything about AI moving or Facepunch moving to AI anti cheat. If you've played with AI, you'll see like it's really good at some things, but then it's really confidently horribly incorrect at other things. So I think there's a long way off until we can have AI doing our anti cheat. But hey, maybe that is the long term solution that will come through and actually solve the hacking situation for video games. Because I mean, let's be real, it's not just Rust. Hacking is a epidemic. It's a problem in every like multiplayer video game, pretty much. And it's just in Rust, it really sucks because we don't have like 3 minute rounds. And if you get hacked, it's like, oh, there goes your 3 minute round. No, we have like 1 week to 1 month wipes. You spend hours and hours every day. And then a hacker can come through and ruin it in like 30 seconds. That's a big impact. So we will see. We will see.
So the questions are a little slow. So let's do a recap. And if anyone have questions, we can do a few after Bugs is done doing the recap.
Cool. We'll do a little recap here. It is a slow week as it normally is after the 1 week after force wipe. You know, that's just how the development cycle goes. So we do appreciate Arna slowly and peacefully lerping through the landscape of Rust as I give a little recap here. Thank you, Artemis.
You're welcome.
I do love looking over and just seeing the peaceful landscape of Rust. You know, the occasional polar bear
That's it,
attacking
yeah.
another animal, you
One
know, but
sec. Captain Michael is just reading us with 585 people.
oh, thank you
Yeah.
for that. And hey, guys, you just in time because I'm doing a little recapity cap here on what is going on in Rust development for the week. Now, as with most first Thursdays after the force wipe, not a lot to show off. So we are just kind of scrolling through peacefully the landscape of Rust here. But I will go through what is going on in development. First and foremost, you probably did notice a number of hot fixes hit your Steam library Rust client over the past several days and over the past weekend. That was pretty common to see after a big update in force wipe. And specifically with this update in Force Wipe, there were a number of performance issues, especially on the server end, especially with larger servers after the update. It was related, it looks like, to some gameplay metrics that they're working on, and some specifically some pooling issues with the gameplay metrics. They did resolve those. They also increased egg suit durability from 25 to 80. They fixed a bunch of things with the double saddles with the horses. They did some other possible server memory improvements. They removed some phrases that were derogatory, and they fixed a number of things with the maps, like the maps not opening while you're spectating, and an exception of trying to edit a map marker label while the map is bound to a non-text key like caps lock. So yeah, just a number of hot fixes. Those are all live in the game. Don't think there's another hot fix immediately planned, but maybe there is. Maybe we'll see another hot fix. I do think one update we definitely will see in the next week is to disable Easter. Easter is probably going to go for another week, and then probably next Thursday we'll see an update, server and client, to disable Easter event. Also, in other news, we got the team working on weapon racks. If you're not familiar, this is going to be a deployable object that will display proudly your firearms, for you and your base friends. And then also on top of that, it has utility. You'll be able to go up and just point and click to grab the gun instead of having to go into UI. And likewise, if you want to mount a gun on the weapon rack, it looks like you'll just be able to drop it in the general vicinity, and the weapon rack will suck it on up. So that's cool. We'll keep you posted on weapon racks. Not available for testing on staging or anything yet. Speaking of testing on staging, though, tomorrow in Aux 2, Nuclear Missile Silo, the newest monument in Rust, is going to be available for public testing as of tomorrow. And that Alistair tweeted that earlier today, that they're going to open Aux 2 up tomorrow. And so we're excited about that. We're going to check out the new nuclear missile silo. It's, once again, the newest monument in game. It's going to be a large, mostly underground monument from the looks of it. It's going to feature radiation, loot, NPCs, all that good stuff. And so we also, next week, for the update preview stream, will be streaming from Aux 2, showing off the nuclear missile silo, and the article on Rustafied.com, which goes live every Thursday, summarizing what's going on in development, will give you a full rundown of what the nuclear missile silo is and what you as a player would want to know about the nuclear missile silo. We expect, given this merge and domain and public testing, probably nuclear missile silo is going to be available and going live in the game for the May 4th update. But we'll keep you posted as always. Also, in other news, work on the mission editor. Helk is working on this mission editor. Not sure if it's going to be a public facing mission editor where players and server owners can go in and create their own missions and share their own missions, or if it's just going to be a tool for the developers to create more robust missions on the fly. But we'll keep you posted. It does look like, regardless, this new mission editor is going to introduce probably some new missions and more complexity to the mission system in the game. So we'll keep you posted as more comes to light. Also, more work on the attack helicopter. Mainly this week, it looks like a lot of the work is on the gunner UI and gunner screen. It's going to be a two-person helicopter, kind of big brother to the minicopter. Instead of wheels, it's going to have skis, but more importantly, it's going to shoot shit. And it looks like it's going to shoot rockets and maybe a gun, maybe like a gimbaled gun. We'll keep you posted. It does look like work on the attack helicopter is nearing a production state. Like a lot has been done on it for a while now. So I feel like there's a moderately good chance we might see attack helicopter come into the game for the May update as well, but nothing's confirmed yet. We'll keep you posted as more time goes on. Also, we're seeing more work on gameplay metrics. Once again, that's to not only see what players are actually doing in the game and how they're progressing through the game so the devs can do more balance related things, but also they're looking specifically this week on server performance. What are the biggest hitches when it comes to server performance? What are the things hogging server performance? Identifying them is the first step to optimizing them, right? So we're seeing work on that. There's also more work on a deployable quarry refresh. If you're not familiar, quarries used to be deployable, and you would be able to set up a quarry on your base or in your compound. That was removed, but it looks like it might be coming back at some point in the future. And also more work on the building skins 3 branch, which we're not really clear what that is, if that's going to be like user created building skins, or if that's just going to be a refresh or some new types of default skins for building tiers. Not sure, but we'll keep you posted. Also, just finally, US and EU Zen Labs, because of its popular launch last week running Happus. We are running Happus once again this week. EU Zen Labs wiped about 3.5 hours ago, and US Zen Labs wipes in an hour and a half. So if you want to play some Happus, then check out Community Happus on our Zen Lab servers. And shout out to Cyphex and the team over at Community Happus, discord.gg/Happus Rust, if you want to check it out and be part of helping out with Community Happus. But yeah, that's what we got going on as a recapity cap. Any other questions, Shadow, before we wind this puppy down?
Yeah. Um, have you guys ever considered having a subscribe only server to pay specific admins to look after it?
We tried doing like a phone verification server back in the day, but it was like this chicken or the egg thing where we paid for thousands and thousands of people to get phone verified with text messages, which wasn't free because it costs money to do that stuff. But we had thousands of people verify their phone numbers, and then just no one entered the server, and the server was just dead. So we're really sticking to our bread and butter, which is just the vanilla official servers. But going forward, anything's possible, and I'm always looking for opportunities for expansion or new things to go into. But really, to be straight, right now the focus is on just really optimizing and really taking the servers that we have and making them as great as possible.
When are we going to see some fun 7TV emotes?
Not sure. And I see someone saying, doesn't Discord have phone verification? Yeah. Now, back when we tried this, this was like before Discord was even a thing. I'm saying it was like years ago. So maybe at some point we'll try it again, something like that. But yeah, once again, we're really focusing just now on the, vanilla official servers and making sure we run the best servers that we possibly can.
Is there any news for the Rustafied, like in general?
Well, we've been doing a ton of things to improve over here at Rustified. We have a new type of map that we're using instead of just using raw procgen maps at 2.5 or not no 4.5 or 4.25k. Due to popular demand, we went down to a 4K map, and we're doing custom seeds with that, where we're mostly combining Outpost and Bandit. Although we have voting options now, voting is back live for maps, and so we're giving on each server the option to some options with combined Outposts and some options without, because a lot of people like it, but some people wanted the opportunity to have it be the original like OG way. So we're doing a lot of improvements. These new maps are not only smaller and more PvP oriented, but they're more optimized and should have better performance. As we got rid of some ancillary crap that was like impacting performance negatively. We're also working with this new third-party anti-cheat system, which has been doing a great job at catching hackers, and we're continually ramping that up. We've done a bunch of improvements to Discord and our onboarding process and map voting in there, and we got more Discord features rolling out. So do check out rustified.com/discord if you're not a part of our community there. And yeah, we're just really, and we also onboarded like 10 new moderators, and we're getting them all trained up so that we can really respond to reports of these hackers as quickly as possible, because the hacker situation is a situation. It's a problem, and we're doing everything that we can on our end to have our servers be as clean from hackers as possible. So yeah, that's just a couple things going on. We're also long term, well, medium to long term, we're working on a stat system for players. So we're gonna have leaderboards, we're gonna have premium stats where you can see all these details about each bullet you fire in the servers, all this stuff. So we got a bunch of cool stuff on the horizon. And yeah, I'm really happy with how things are going now.
Creedon59 just subscribed with a Prime. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't think we have more questions.
Cool. Well, I think we'll leave it at that. It is a light one this week, as there's nothing really to show
Oh,
off on
shoot.
stage.
Sorry. He just
Mhm.
gifted. Sorry. 5 gifted.
Cool. Thank you, Karina.
Creedon59. Thank you.
Appreciate it, brother. And yeah, appreciate everyone supporting us, because we are an independent organization. I know a lot of people think we're like on the development team or we're related to Facepunch or on the payroll, but we're not. We're just an independent organization of fans of the game like you who love reporting on development news and running the best servers that we possibly can. And the only way that we can continue to do that is through the support of the community. So to everyone who tunes in and watches each week, thank you. To people who subscribe on Twitch and give bits, thank you. And to our wonderful, loyal, beautiful VIP customers, thank you so much, because literally we wouldn't be able to do this each week if it weren't for the support that you all give us. So much love to you all, seriously, and thank you. And with that, I think we are going to wind it down because there's not much to talk about. We will be back next week. There's going to be an article on Rustafied.com with a full summary of this new nuclear missile silo monument. And we're going to be back same time, same place next week, 1 p.m. Eastern on Twitch TV/Rustafied with a run through of that nuclear missile silo and everything about that new monument that you might want to know. And we'll give also other development news, whatever it might be at the time. So do tune in again next week. Much love to you all. A huge thank you to my co-MCs, as always, Miss D and Artemis. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome, Bugs.
Yep, most welcome, Bugs.
And with that, we're going to wind this puppy down. I hope you all have a wonderful week and a wonderful wipe. This is Bugs, signing off.